YouTube family. Today we're going to talk about some huge mistakes that I made when getting Nigerian dwarf goats. I've been studying and doing as much research as I possibly can about multiple types of goats over the past 2 years. About 2 years or so ago, Dayton came home from school insisting, after meeting some baby goats, that goats were something that we would add to our homestead. And I was pretty reluctant about getting goats. They were not on the top of my list of animals to add to our homestead. Although I knew there were a lot of perks of having goats, I heard a lot of nightmare stories about having goats, and I just wasn't sure with the chaos of renovating an abandoned home and beginning our homestead that I was ready for the undertaking of what goats maybe entailed for the homestead. After doing more and more research over the past 6 months or so, I really became more and more excited about the idea and the opportunity of having goats on our farm. I knew that I wasn't going to be challenged with that because Chase and Dayton had been asking me for goats this whole time, and I knew that with a little persuasion and a little bit of eye-batting that we could definitely convince Philip to get on board. But as you know, a couple of weeks ago, we welcomed our first Nigerian dwarf goat.
She just made the cutest noise a second ago. What a fun day. We got to welcome our very first Nigerian dwarf goat, who is a nuzzly bug when you're holding her. She's gonna be in a dog crate tonight with us inside, probably for a couple nights with some hay and some straw. And we got her all her yummy, delicious things. We got her some sweet feed, but we also got her, like, just as a treat. And then we got her lead and hoof trimmers, hoof picks. We got her a whole list of things to prepare for her. She's gonna be a house goat for a house, not a house coat. She's going to be a house goat for a little while, right? And you're gonna play with your friends in the farm.
That was ultimately the breed that we decided on. Not only are they a smaller size goat, but they have so many benefits to adding different elements to sustainability that we want to eventually have here on our homestead, specifically being more of a dairy goat that we can actually have and produce milk for our farm for a multitude of different situations that we want to have. We would like to make some of our own sustainable home products in addition to obviously use milk for cooking and a bunch of different benefits that we're going to be able to show you along the way on our homestead here, having the Nigerian dwarf goats. And we knew we were going to be able to keep a small herd because of the size of the land that we have, and that we could sustain ourselves with the area that we already kind of had situated for them, and then be able to expand as we go and make changes here on the homestead as they grew. So we decided on getting 3, maybe 4 doelings and 1 buckling, and we're gonna see how we like having the Nigerian dwarf goat. I made an absolute terrible mistake. I welcomed our first Nigerian dwarf goat, Brooke, and that was almost 2 months ago. She was so tiny, and even just looking back at the pictures of her, I can't believe how quickly she has grown. Even for a dwarf goat, she has grown so much. Her little baby face is already changing. And because Brooke was a lone goat the first week that we brought her home, we were supposed to bring home another goat that week, and that goat happened to fall through. So I ended up scrambling to find being able to reserve some other goats to be able to join our homestead, because we do not want a goat being a lone goat, especially not for long. He agrees. Nigerian dwarf goats are herd animals. Goats are herd animals, and they really shouldn't be alone. It's not really very good for them to be alone, but I knew that I could keep our first goat busy. We have lots of other animals here on the farm, and I knew that it would just be for a short time. It ended up being for a couple weeks longer than I ever anticipated, but in our province, especially at that type of year, there really weren't any goats that I was interested in purchasing. They were the age that I was looking for at that time to be able to get Brooke a friend immediately. And so I have had Brooke, and Brooke has been what I called my house goat over the past couple of months. And Brooke has become my absolute bestie, and I have taken Brooke everywhere with me. She's ridden in the truck with me, she goes on trail walks with me, she does all the farm chores with me. Where I go, Brooke goes. She was sitting beside me in the living room every night if we were sitting to edit videos. She has literally become my shadow over the past couple of months. I was doing everything I could to keep her entertained and have her hopefully not notice that she was a lone goat. I have loved every second of it, and I know Brooke has too, but not only have I created an absolute mama's girl monster, Brooke wants to be by my side all the time, which I do love. But now that we've welcomed 2 other goats,
Chase, what have you done?
Mine. She's mine.
Dayton, what have you done?
Can you blame me?
No, I can't blame you.
2 other doelings into our herd, I made a massive mistake by not doing the same thing that I did with Brooke and just bringing them. Ah, Brookie! I made a huge mistake when bringing in our other 2 doelings. The next 2 doelings arrived a couple weeks later. We got Meadow and Cove, and they were so fun to pick up. We were so excited to finally get them because it felt like forever from reserving them when they were just born to actually being able to bring them home to our homestead. But I did not keep them in the house for a duration of time like I kept Brooke. I kept them in the house for a couple of days because the weather was really crummy, and I wanted to keep a really close eye on them and just make sure that not only did they not have any pests, but that they were eating and drinking and going to the washroom properly and all the things you want to make sure that you monitor when you bring a new animal home. And then I transitioned them out into this small area, the clubhouse for the goaties, and their little pasture area right here with Miss Brooke. But my problem now is that neither one of them want to come near me. When I come outside, Brooke does this. She just wants to be with me all the time, and the other 2 goats absolutely scatter. I know that a lot of goats, especially Nigerian dwarf goats, are often end up getting bottle fed when they're babies, and that helps them to be able to bond with the human that's doing that. So although I'm trying everything I possibly can to bond with Cove and Meadow, they don't want anything to do with me. The only way I can get them to do anything for me is if I have grains and or fruits or veggies or something that I'm giving them close by me, and they will run off. They do not want to stay near me. They will go to the perimeters of the fencing where we are. They will run into the enclosure and hide underneath their little platform here. They don't want anything to do with me, which breaks my heart because I just want to love on them and I want them to be as close with me as Miss Brooke is. And I thought that maybe they would see that she was telling them that I was a safe place to be in a safe space, but they don't seem to find her interactions with me as, you know, more endearing to come near me. Little by little, they're getting a foot or so closer every once in a while, but I've already had them now for a couple of weeks and they just really don't seem interested in bonding with me at all. And so I'm doing everything in my power to be able to make a closer connection with them. Come here, you can knock it over again. Excuse me, you're being rude.
So what I'm going to be doing is over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be backtracking some of the bonding that I'm doing with Cove and Meadow. Led her around the property on a lead, and I taught her to walk on the lead so that if ever I needed to get her from one spot to another, that she would gladly walk on the lead with me, because I'm not sure exactly where our goat barn is going to be situated when we get to that part. If it's going to be back behind here where the clubhouse is, or over in the mini barn where we already have that barn. So I'm going to start lead training individually and tandem with Cove and Meadow and bring them with me all around the farm over the next 2 weeks or so in hopes that I can backtrack and kind of get them where I need them to be. I need to be able to get near them. I don't want to chase them around, because if I chase them, I'm making them more afraid of me. And so I've done everything I can to quietly and very carefully get them into the coop at night for their protection from predators. So my system has been hold on to Brooke, put Brooke in the coop, and then they want to follow in where Brooke is. But I don't want to use Brooke as the token for me to get them to do what they want. I want them to trust me that when it's time to go into bed, that everyone goes in. Or if I need to brush them or wash them or get some sap off them, or, you know, do anything I need to be able to care for their health, I want to be able to touch them, go near them, and them not run off. So I made a huge mistake by not making sure that they were with me 24/7 for that first couple of weeks. So because I didn't raise these babies from their own mother, they don't know me and I'm a complete stranger to them. And with that being said, next weekend on the 26th, we're welcoming our buckling. And so I am 100% going to be doing what I did with Brooke with him when I first bring him home. He will not come out in pasture. He will stay with me as a house goat for a week or two and really bond with me and know that I'm where food comes from. I'm where snuggles and scritches come from. I'm where grains come from, and know that I'm the one that's going to care for him so that when we do transition outside, that he is ready for me to do that. So hopefully I don't make the same mistake. I'm going to learn from my mistake. Being new to everything, you learn these things as you go. And so as a new goat mom, I want to do everything right, but I made a huge mistake by not keeping them close with me and really giving them much more of my time the first 2 weeks that we brought them here. It was easy when I just had Brooke, but when I went from 1 to 3, I can't just stand in the goat pasture all day long and not do any other work. But I should have just taken them with me, or at least I should have made sure that they were one-on-one with me individually, and I think that definitely would have helped. I will say though, and maybe I shouldn't let any of the other animals hear me on the property, but my goats are becoming a very, very top favorite of mine here on the property. And I'm pretty sure you figured that out already, because Brooke and I were besties. So today I'm working on a super fun project. I'm actually gearing up for a super fun project. This weekend, I have Chase and Dayton home for Easter long weekend. I get them home Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which means I have the opportunity not only to have some extra hands to get some things done, but I get to spend some quality time with my boys. And they really, really are so excited for 50 new animals that are coming to our homestead in just a couple of weeks. We are welcoming 50 meat chickens. We are going to harvest our own chicken for freezer camp this year. And the boys want to make a chicken tractor to go up and down the hill where we're doing our raised garden beds. And this week also we're going to be building our raised beds. Philip has not seen the plots. He hasn't even noticed. It's going to be so fun. I have been sneakily making sure to arrange all the wood to get picked up next week on our way home from a hay haul, and it's going to be the best surprise ever. Hi ladies. So what I've been doing today is I have been trying to find all the materials that we had tucked away from winter. We have some green chicken wire here, and we have kind of some crumpled up but still usable silver chicken wire here. And we also have a whole bunch of this sheet metal that came off of the shed that got collapsed by the snow that fell off the tree. We have a pretty big pile of it. You know, we always have a lot of scrap wood from projects on the farm here. So we have a pile behind the cattle barn, and we have a pile at the front where we were building the stable barn. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking some measurements, because we are going to be using a whole bunch of upcycled materials that we have here on property, and we are going to make an epic chicken tractor to house 50 of our chickens. And I think this is going to be a fun project for the boys, because you always see them practicing with the tools and saws and everything. And so this is something that they can really take charge on. They've drawn up a design that they want to do, and I'm going to help them make it happen. So tomorrow morning, first thing, we're going to be dropping Philip off at the lobster boat, and he's there working currently right now. He's there just helping getting a bunch of things ready for their launch day. I think it's called setting day. And the boys and I tomorrow morning are going to start progress on an insanely large list of projects that we are going to be doing, not only outside but inside, over the next 8 weeks while Philip is gone. I have one question for you before we end today's video, and I need to hear from you, and honest opinions are welcomed. I am going to be doing a ton of meal prepping this weekend, because I am obviously going to be alone for the next 8 weeks, and I want to make sure that we are as organized as possible. Do you want to see the meal prep for what I'm working on for the first month that he's gone? I'm thinking something like cook once, you know, eat for 30 days, show you what we're working on, not for breakfast, lunches, dinners, and desserts, and show you that. Again, kitchen no judgment zone. I am not world's best cook, but I will tell you that I'm pretty good at a few things, and I thought that it would be fun to share with you not only what I'm doing to prep and make all of this happen while you guys are observing us over the next couple of months, but it's something that I haven't shown on our videos before, is doing any of that for meal prepping or really any cooking or baking or anything really too much on our channel ever. So let me know. I want to hear from you. Is that something that you want to see? You know, cook once, eat for 30 days. And if you want to see it, I'll show you this weekend. Right behind me, it's about to storm, and I'm fighting the time here to be able to get something done. I'm going to dismantle this wood crate box here that was on property because I'm going to utilize some of the wood, and I think there's just screws and nails everywhere. So I'm going to disassemble this so that we can probably make use of a bunch of these 1x6s, and there's even some 4x4 posts on here, and even a couple hinges that I think we might need for the door on our chicken tractor. But I want to get this disassembled before I have to pick the boys up off the bus, because not only am I doing everything the next couple months, I'm still shuttling the boys to and from their new school, and that is quite a time consuming process every day, in addition to their extracurriculars. So I'm going to see if I can get this done before I leave to go get the boys. Are you waiting for your kids from the bus? They're coming. 2 minutes. You're pretty cute, Miss Brooke.